ongoing crisis for visual effects artists, or the horrible working conditions for animators, or the Writers and Actors Guild having to go on strike, or, I don't know, the fact that Warner Brothers keeps shelving movies for tax write-offs. Film studios are routinely criticized for their bizarre, shady tactics and for the ways that they screw over the people who actually make the movies that you see.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
But if you're looking for a portrait of Hollywood at its most deceitful, you need look no further than right here.
The Star Wars phenomenon is bigger than ever.
Can't escape from Star Wars mania.
The Return of the Jedi is now sweeping the continent.
The galactic faithful gathered in droves.
The lines were long, hours before the theater opened.
By the way, I want to go ahead and chime in. This is from Second Thought. Second Thought, this is a YouTuber. Go ahead and subscribe to their channel. Support them. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
Opened its doors.
When we got here, people just invaded.
Hit the thumbs up button.
There was a madhouse.
Judging from the response across North America this week, Mr. Lucas has another big win.
May 1983. Return of the Jedi takes the box office by storm.
Record-breaking earnings on its very first day.
When the dust settles, it has a worldwide gross of almost $500 million off a budget in the low 30s. Massive profits all around. Except not for everybody. That was the story for David Prowse, the actor behind Darth Vader's mask. See, the contract he signed entitled him to a cut of the movie's profits. The problem is that, for years, Lucasfilm told him that the movie was still massively in the red. Quote, I get these occasional letters from Lucasfilm saying that we regret to inform you that as the movie has never gone into profit, we've got nothing to send you.
What?
Hold on.
Hell no. That movie made $250 million.
What?
I have a bad feeling about this.
What the hell? Damn contracts.
This is a side of Hollywood that you don't see from your theater seat. That exchange between Lucasfilm and David Prowse, it happens all the time. This is something that spans the entire history of the film industry. It's inspired controversies. It's led to lawsuits. And it's screwed over countless people in the process.
The movie companies have been screwing people for years.
This is the world of Hollywood accounting.
Wow. Hollywood accounting explained.
But first, it's ad read time, because God knows we're not making any money from YouTube AdSense. Thank you,
That's right.
Google. Starting point. You've got movies that, to all of us, look massively successful, but that studios claim are actually unprofitable. The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Spider-Man, Alien, Bohemian Rhapsody is a good one. Take a look at this. Deadline calculated its profit at $350 million, but its studio, Fox, told its screenwriter, hey, sorry buddy, we lost $50 million on that one. We got nothing for you. That's a $400 million difference. How is that even possible? Well, it turns out, you don't have to look far for the answer. Roger Corman, the great B-movie director, once wrote, quote, without question, there is deviousness in the accounting. David O. Selznick, the famous producer who did Gone with the Wind, went one step further when he said that the entire industry is built on phony accounting. But to really get behind all the headlines and what the studios say, we need to go back to the 80s for a little while to talk about another blockbuster. Cue Mr. Eddie Murphy.
Good morning, my neighbors!
This is the 1988 film Coming to America, a comedy classic about an African prince searching for true love in the United States.
I want a woman that's going to arouse my intellect as well as my loins. Where will you find such a woman? In America.
A massive hit at the time. We've got Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones. We've got John Landis directing 2 years after the trial for
An accident that took place during the filming of Twilight Zone.
Never mind. But the person we're really interested in isn't on screen. He's not in the opening credits. He's not in the end.
For y'all don't know, Michael Landis, that's the guy right here. This the guy who directed Coming to America. He also directed Thriller, Michael Jackson. He did another movie called American Werewolf in London, which is one of Michael Jackson's favorite movies when it came out. And he was on tour with the Jacksons when he went and saw that movie, and he just fell in love with it. Then he realized that Michael Landis is the one who directed it, so he wanted him to do Thriller for him. Then he ended up doing Coming to America for Eddie Murphy. but he was also about to go to prison. This guy right here, he was about to go to jail because I believe in 1982 he was about to go to jail for like manslaughter because he was directing a movie called Twilight Zone, where because of his direction, he ended up killing 3 people in a helicopter crash. He killed two little girls. It killed two. It killed 2 little kids and an actor back in 1982. The helicopter, I think the helicopter crashed or something like that, and he ended up killing 3 of the actors. Not 2. I said 2, but it was 3 of them. It was two little kids, a boy and a girl, and one of the actors. He was like in his 50s, and it was a certain helicopter scene they were shooting that Michael Landis, and even the guy that was flying the helicopter told him that this, you can't have them that close to the helicopter because, and Michael Landis said they'll be fine, and then the accident happened. So yeah, they was about trying to, I think they paid like the family off, of course, but yeah, he was going to court, getting ready to go to prison. Of course, he got off, after, he ended up getting off. But yeah, let's go and get back in this little side history there.
2 years after the trial for
An accident that took place during the filming of Twilight Zone.
Never mind.
Helicopter, yeah.
But the person we're really interested in isn't on screen. He's not in the opening credits. He's not in the end credits. In fact, he's nowhere to be found. And that's this man, columnist Art Buchwald.
Who is he?
If you want to understand the mechanics of just how studios screw people over, this is the key story. Buchwald v. Paramount Pictures. So in 1983, Buchwald sold a story treatment for a movie called King for a Day to Paramount, who wanted to develop the project into a feature for Eddie Murphy, their superstar box office draw in the 80s.
Officers, if we see any, movie stars, could y'all stop and point them out to me? I never seen no shit like that.
The project bounced around in development for a little while before being put into turnaround, meaning that Buchwald was free to shop the story around to other studios who might be interested, which he did. He sold it to Warner Brothers.
A brother's Warner.
Until he heard Paramount announce the beginning of production on their new Eddie Murphy comedy, Coming to America. Only problem, Coming to America had the same story as King for a Day. Buchwald complained, he was shrugged off, he hired a lawyer, filed a breach of contract suit against Paramount, and to make a long story short, he won. What? They successfully proved in court that Coming to America was based on Buchwald's story, and that Paramount was in breach of the original contract since the initial development period that began with King for a Day never actually concluded.
Where did the idea for Coming to America come from?
Where did the idea for Coming to America come from?
And what this meant was that Buchwald was entitled to the terms of his original deal. $65,000 up front and 1.5% of the net profits for him, and $200,000 plus 40% of the net profits for his producing partner, Alan Bernheim.
The writer says he doesn't expect to see a lot of money out of this trial, but it's important anyway.
Well, after a while, it becomes sounds corny, but a matter of principle. We think we're fighting for a lot of writers in a lot of ways that the movie companies have been screwing people for years.
Now let's pause here. Let's stay on that term for a sec. Net profit. Maybe you've seen headlines about this kind of thing in Forbes or Business Insider. Profit participation deals like these are a staple in the industry. They've been around in Hollywood since the earliest days, but they really exploded in the 1950s when it became commonplace for big stars to receive profit points in addition to upfront salaries.
A tenth of a point after quadruple break even. You are really a shark, Al.
And the biggest of these deals? They'll make your head swim.
What a sound!
Warren Beatty famously got 40% of the gross profit on Bonnie and Clyde. Jack Nicholson reportedly earned upwards of $90 million for playing the Joker. Tom Cruise $100 million for Top Gun Maverick. Christopher Nolan $100 million for Oppenheimer. George Lucas and Steven Spielberg traded a couple of profit points on Star Wars and Close Encounters, netting both of them millions, Spielberg especially, on movies they had nothing to do with. Now, there are tons of different kinds of deals, and the bigger the star, the better the terms. The lower a person's profile, the less favorable terms they can demand. Generally speaking, though, profit-sharing deals in Hollywood can be divided into two categories. Those that are based on gross profit, and those that are based on net profit. On the face of it, this theoretically works exactly as you would expect it to. Gross profit is your full revenue before expenses have been deducted, and net is the amount of profit that's left over after all those deductions have been made. Gross is bigger, net is less. So people who get gross profit deals, we're talking big stars. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Quentin Tarantino, Margot Robbie, people like that. However, more people in the industry are likely to get that net profit deal, which still sounds attractive though, right? The studio puts up the money, the movie does its business, expenses are recouped, and you get a percentage of the profits left over. Makes sense. Except, here's the thing. Net profit doesn't exist in Hollywood.
Say what?
I don't understand.
Explain yourself.
What's the big idea?
What do you mean?
There are no such thing as net profits. They give them to you because there's no such thing. There's no net.
The net is fantasy.
That's how movie math works.
How can that even be fucking possible?
Yeah. It's simply a matter of creative accounting.
I don't know where the money is. It's just not there.
There are 330 feature films in that 5-minute montage. And what's amazing is, according to Paramount, not one is yet to go into profit.
And if you can figure it out how they do that, you know, more power to you.
Wow.
So, back to Coming to America. The judge in the case ruled that Art Buchwald was entitled to a share of the movie's net profits. You already know where this is going. Paramount submitted a net profit statement to Buchwald's lawyers in response. The movie grossed some $250 million off a budget of about $35 million, but according to them, was still $18 million in the red. Now, okay, you've probably heard before that studios don't receive the total worldwide gross that a movie earns. It has to be split with movie theaters, usually somewhere between 40 to 50%. But even after that split, and after deducting the movie's production budget and marketing expenses, you've still got millions disappearing out of nowhere. How does this happen? Well, the answer is that studios play with a different set of rules. The giant gaps that you see, these happen because studios start piling on all these additional costs. Distribution fees, distribution expenses, trade dues, collection costs, anticipated expenses, studio overhead, advertising overhead, interest on overhead, and on and on and on, 1,000 expenses, all of which can drive up a movie's total cost well past whatever the studio's total gross was. In fact, it's not uncommon for the combined total of these additional costs to match the costs actually associated with producing and marketing a movie.
Oh, this is crazy.
So, does that mean that all of these movies were never actually profitable? If that were true, how is any movie profitable? Well, this is where things start to look awfully fictional. For one, every movie is set up as its own individual corporation, and all of those extra fees are charged by and paid to the studio, even though the studio itself owns the corporation. So, in effect, the corporation will always look like it's in the red. But it's when all these additional charges and expenses come rolling in that the controversy really brews. To get a movie in the red, studios will stack charges and expenses that are supremely unfair, excessive, arbitrary, or sometimes just simply fake, like charging someone for services that didn't happen or aren't even real. Like a studio charging expenses for shooting on a soundstage, even though the movie was shot entirely on location in a forest somewhere. That happens. Or here's one. There's a story Variety reported on years ago where a studio added a $200,000 flat charge to every production for the videotapes they'd use for dailies, years after everyone had switched over to digital dailies delivered over the internet. That is the kind of nonsense we're dealing with.
Hooray for Hollywood.
It's just hilarious that they would come up to you and tell you that we did some deals with some other comics.
Dude, I got in business one time to make this TV show, and the fucking guys sends the bill for the whole fucking thing. The guy was going to bill us $2,500 a month to use his copier machine, and another, I don't know, $4,500 to use his editing. It's like, dude, we have both of those things. We don't need those. Let's take that money and put it on the screen. How many fucking shows are you charging $2,500 a month to go, fucking...
But even to buy a copy,
he probably has 9 shows paying $2,500 a month for him to go. That's it.
And it just gets more and more frustrating.
That was Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians. Yeah, that's why I'm glad that people are getting more going towards social media now, because it's just not good no more with the movies and the TV shows, man. I ain't for real. It's just not good no more. Hollywood's been screwing over a lot of people for years. This ain't no recent shit. So, what he's trying to convey is that don't think what you think. I think, what does that got to do with anything? Why not? Oh, shit. Oh, no, man. Oh, no. The moral of the story is don't do edibles while doing a reaction video. Anyway, if y'all want to go ahead and support this guy's YouTube channel, go ahead and check him out. His name is Second Thought. Second Thought, check out his YouTube channel. If y'all want to go and watch the rest of this video, I'm going to put the link down in the description. You go ahead and support this brother's channel and finish watching. And still another, I don't want to use all the whole man's content. I just want to just talk about what I just, Hollywood is very shady. Don't even, you'd be better off just making your own movies and shit and putting it out your damn self instead of dealing with Hollywood, and blow up something yourself. And then when they come to you, make their ass come out the pocket. Like, I do a partnership where y'all got to break bread, shit, but you have to put money in and invest in yourself. That's what it's all about. Anyway, y'all, what y'all think about this video? Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel. Charles Arnaz World.